Hello, my name is Winifred Awinpoya Atanga, and I'm here with Joseph Turay. We are working together on the Leading Others formative assignment. Next. So for the leaders we'll be focusing on would be Mansa Musa from the pre-colonial Africa, Kwame Nkrumah from the struggle for independence, Tiger Stevens from the immediate post-independence era, and Ernest Koroma from the 21st century. Next. Um, so Mansa Musa was one of the leading empire leaders of the Mali Empire in the year 1312, and Mansa Musa was well known for his enthusiasm to promote infrastructural development in the empire, where he built mosques and schools and also promoted trade along the way. And this was done through him bringing in traders from Europe, Arab countries, and Africa to trade in the Mali Empire, making the empire one of the largest trade zones in Africa. Through this, he was able to construct the University of Sankore, which supported about 25,000 students to get educated before his death in the year 1337. Next. So for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he was one of the outstanding leaders in the Ghanaian history, where he was among the big six that led independence. So earlier in his career, he was invited by the United Gold Coast Convention in the year 1947 to serve as the Secretary General. And through his work with this convention, he was invited and appointed to be the Prime Minister of Ghana in the year 1952. He was re-elected again in the year 1954 and 1956 to help Ghana gain independence alongside the Big Six. Next. So the leadership styles of Mansa Musa and Kwame Nkrumah. So Mansa Musa was more of a transformational leader, whereas he had the building of the Mali Empire into a great one into account. He wanted to have the country developed into one of the successful countries in the African continent, and through education, through infrastructural development, among many others. So through these developments, the 25 students that were supported through the University of Sankore were educated to get jobs and also to create experienced astronomers, lawyers, and doctors, among many others. And through this, he also promoted trade and made the Malian Empire one of the largest trade zones in Africa. Mansa Musa was also a transformational leader, an autocratic leader. So, being an autocratic leader, he wanted his voice to be the voice of the Malian Empire. He wanted it to be great, he wanted it to be peaceful, and he wanted it to be prosperous. And he knew that the only way he could do this is to appoint himself to be the leader of the empire. With this, he was able to hire many people from Spain to come and work as civil engineers to construct developmental projects in the in the empire, and he was also responsible for, or maybe he had more than 11,000 slaves that worked for him to promote mining in gold and salt, which made the Malian Empire greater. Next. Next. So for Kwame Nkrumah, he was a transformational leader in the sense that Kwame Nkrumah built a strong central government for the Ghanaian community and attempted to unify the whole Ghanaian culture and country into one that had utilized its resources for economic development. He, as a pan-Africanist, he also wanted to liberate other African countries to gain independence, just like he has helped Ghana to also gain independence in the Union. So with this, he came to bring about the African Union, which promoted cooperation between other African countries. He was also an autocratic leader in the sense that he wanted to unify Ghana into one under one political umbrella, where he wanted to lead in a way that people had him at the top, and then him being the leader of the people at all times. He was also a pace-setting leader. Kwame Nkrumah fought for independence for Ghana, and through this, he wanted to, through the African Union, he wanted to come together and help other people as well. He didn't do this alone. He did it with the Big Six, and he wanted to organize various peaceful strikes to convince the British authorities that they needed to have their own independence. So Kwame Nkrumah also set pace for other successful leadership in the country. Next.
Thank you very much, Winifred. So now I'm going to take you through the context between which Siaka Stevens and Ernest by Koroma led. So Siaka Stevens was a member of the All People's Congress Party since 1962, and that was immediately after Sierra Leone gained independence. And in the year 1967, Siaka Stevens became the Prime Minister of Sierra Leone. But unfortunately, in the year 1968, he was overthrown by the National Reformation Council. And in that same year, Siaka Stevens was reappointed as Prime Minister after the NRC government was overthrown. In the year 1917, Siaka Stevens decided to make Sierra Leone a Republican constitution, and that led him to become the first executive president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And in the year 1973, an election was held under the new constitution introduced by Siaka Stevens, but due to the violence that occurred at the time, the opposition, that was the Sierra Leone People's Party, they decided to withdraw from the election. And Siaka Stevens used this as an advantage and made Sierra Leone a one-party constitution in the year 1978. And one interesting thing about Siaka Stevens was that he was able to consolidate power in his hand, which he used to reduce violence and political tension in Sierra Leone. In addition to that, Ernest Koroma was also a member of the All People's Congress Party for a very long period of time. In the year 2007, Ernest Koroma was elected as president of Sierra Leone. And 4 to 5 years from that, he was also elected as president of Sierra Leone. And when he came to power, Ernest Koroma realized that during the 11-year civil war, lot of infrastructure in Sierra Leone were destroyed. So as a result, he decided to rebuild roads, pipeline water, energy infrastructure, and a lot of other areas that were destroyed during the war. He was able to make development in those areas. And an interesting thing about Ernest Koroma was that under his leadership, Sierra Leone was ranked as the fastest growing economy and also the third most peaceful country in Africa in the year 2014 and 2018, respectively. Ernest Koroma was also able to use his leadership to fight against corruption and strengthen democratic governance in Sierra Leone. He was also a member of the African Union, and he's used his influence to raise awareness for more Africans to be included in the United Nations decision-making. Now I'm going to take you through the leadership styles of Siaka Stevens and Ernest Bai Koroma. Siaka Stevens was an autocratic leader because after he was appointed as Minister of Sierra Leone and later became the first executive president of Sierra Leone, he was able to make Sierra Leone a one-party state. And the goal behind this was to influence Sierra Leoneans to support his party, that is the All People's Congress Party. And as a result of that, he was able to make Sierra Leone a more homogeneous political community. Siaka Stevens was also a transformational leader because after he became the president of Sierra Leone, he was able to work with the People's Republic of China, which led to the construction of the UU building, which has so many ministerial departments and other offices. He was also able to construct the National Stadium, where Sierra Leone normally play its friendly matches with other nations. For Ernest Koroma, he was a transformational leader because after he was elected in 2017 and re-elected in 2012, he decided to look at areas that need to be developed in Sierra Leone. And as a result of that, he was able to rebuild road, restore peace, pipeline water, and energy infrastructure in Sierra Leone. Ernest Nkrumah was also able to fight against corruption, strengthen democratic governance, and he was also able to improve the Sierra Leone economy. Ernest Koroma was also a democratic leader. After he was elected in the year 2017 and 2012, Ernest Koroma worked relentlessly with his administration, and they were able to harness efforts and restore peace in Sierra Leone, promote energy infrastructure, fight against corruption, and promote democratic governance. And one interesting fact about Ernest Koroma was that after his party, the All People's Congress Party, lost the election in 2018, he decided to handed over power to the current president of Sierra Leone, that is His Excellency retired Julius Maada Bio, in a peaceful manner. And due to that, there was no issue of violence or any issue that came up at the time. In addition to that, I'm going to take you through the relationship and differences between the four leaders' leadership style. So for Mansa Musa and Kwame Nkrumah and Siaka Stevens, they possess transformational and autocratic leadership style. For Mansa Musa, he was able to use his leadership to transform the Mali Empire. And also for Kwame Nkrumah, he was able to use his leadership to fight for Ghana independence and so on. And that goes the same for Siaka Stevens. But the issue with their leadership style is that for transformational leadership style, that's when leaders normally invite people from different parts of the world to construct their countries. And when that's normally happens, most of the people within the countries of those leaders, they'll become unemployed. Because I feel like when it comes to development, it needs to be inclusive. We need to include people who are part of our nation to transform our community. And regarding the autocratic leadership style, most of these leaders, we are the one setting the vision for their nations. And as a result of this, whether someone has a very brilliant idea that can contribute to develop their nation, it won't work, because what they are supposed to do as members of those nations, they are supposed to follow the leadership of their leaders who normally set the vision for their nation. And Kwame Nkrumah was also a pace-setting leader, and he used this leadership to fight for the independence of Ghana. And when he was using this, most people lost their life and some were injured, because he also organized strikes that caused these issues. And for Ernest Koroma, he was a democratic leader. After his party, the All People's Congress Party, lost the election in 2018, he decided to hand over power to the current president of Sierra Leone. And after he did that, most people of his party criticized him, saying that he failed to appoint someone who could have contested with the current president of Sierra Leone or the opposition party. And for the transformational leadership, Ernest Koroma was able to work with his administration to transform Sierra Leone. But when doing this, he invited foreigners to develop Sierra Leone, which contributes to unemployment. So for the lesson we learned from the four leaders' leadership style is that all of the leaders know what they wanted, and they were very passionate about their vision, their nation. And for example, Kwame Nkrumah was very passionate to liberate African countries against colonial rule. And due to that, he was able to liberate Ghana from colonial rule and help Ghana gain independence in 1957. Thank you very much. So this is the end of our presentation, and we hope we are able to present properly and able to entertain you. Thank you so much.